I've got a neat little Philco 37600. It's not much of a player, is my understanding. It needs a very long wire antenna. Again, it's just a little 4-tube receiver, but it sure does look good. As you guys know, Philco had a great eye design-wise. Many Art Deco style receivers. Again, this is a faux finish on the front and the back, and I think what makes this particular set unique, let me flip it around. You can see from every angle the way the set presents itself. There's beauty. I've got the original faux finish on the rear as well. Again, nothing more than a decal that was applied. A few very minor flaws, but for the most part, to find something in this condition, it's kind of a miracle. Again, I've had this for many, many years, just stuck back in storage. The original grill cloth as well. So I like it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and restore it. The cabinet needs no work except for just some cleanup, a little touch up here and there, but not a refinish. You can see the louvers on top for ventilation purposes. Again, the dial tuning condenser seems to be free. The on-off control seems to be working. A little sluggish. Again, looking at the schematic, a 4-tube receiver. Power transformer designed to work at 115 volts. AC input, looks like the receiver operating at that voltage around 45 watts. The IF, not the standard, non-standard at that time, 470 kilocycles or kilohertz. And again, this thing covered, they said, 530 kilocycles up into about 1800. So the old police span again uses a 6 alpha 8G tube for the detector oscillator. The second detector, the 6J7G output tube, is 6K6G, and a 5Y4G for the rectifier. The set or chassis should be removed by the fasteners on the underneath side, so the chassis just comes out the bottom. I'll go ahead and get the knobs off and go ahead and pull the chassis out and set the cabinet off to the side. Again, under the lighting conditions, you may be able to see some of the very minor flaws in the faux finish, but again, nothing to really worry about or do anything with. There's some good cleaning, probably some wax or something over the existing finish. Alright, I'll be right back. Let me go ahead and grab the stuff that I need to get the chassis removed, and we'll take a look at it, see what lies ahead on the electrical restoration. Thanks in advance for following along. And one cracked knob there on the shaft itself to mitigate. You can see the line cord, it's been taped at this location. I'll go ahead and just snip it off. There we go. And there we have the chassis. Interesting, I was trying to figure out what that piece of wire was. Somebody put a loop antenna on the back side. So we know for sure it's been used. Not sure how well the reception would have worked on the little small loop antenna, but we'll reverse engineer that and just see what it tunes to and what the inductance of the homemade antenna is. It looks to be in pretty good shape. Let me just spin the chassis around, leave the camera stationary. not bad at all to be back from 1937. Go ahead and cut this loop antenna loose just to get it out of my way. In a top-down view. Good look at the underside. A heavy, very heavy chassis with the power transformer. Looks like someone's already removed the two fasteners that secure that bottom plate in place, unless there's more here on the side out of view. That one's been removed. Let me just see if I can pop this off and we'll look underneath. Make sure I'm not missing a fastener here on the side. Okay, I think I figured it out. Just one of those senior moments. The fasteners here on the side as well need to be removed. I felt like that whole plate would come out, but it's actually attached to the side pieces here as well. Well, definitely someone has been in the receiver at some point in time, because you can see some of the electrolytic capacitors have been replaced, in addition to maybe a few of the other caps. See if I can zoom in here, get a better look at this. Fairly simple circuit, again, just being 4 tubes, not a great performer. So many of the caps have been replaced, and I see one resistor there as well. We'll do a deeper dive and see what we can come up with here. I'm going to start out just doing some basic tests, just to ensure the power transformer is good. We've got continuity there on the primary and all the secondaries, and then kind of go from there. Appears to be the rectifier tube. And it is the 5Y4G. Okay guys, when I left off I had some thunderstorms in the area. It's the next day. I've got my RF signal generator hooked up and just using one of my coils that I built. I'm going to rock the RF signal generator near the IF frequency with a modulated tone. So you can hear the IF is coming through. Let's check the local oscillator. I'm going to do that just using another receiver. Let me grab it real quick. The oscillator coil resides here. I should be close enough in proximity to hear a CW carrier being generated as I rock the tuning condenser on the receiver. So let me do that. Okay, I've been rotating the tuning condenser around and I pick up nothing. I think the oscillator coil is open. Let's do some DC resistance checks. They're called out on the schematic, so to make troubleshooting easy. Let me power the receiver off. Alright, look at the schematic. I've got a picture-in-picture up. I think I got this correct here. The schematic shows 7.5, we're 8.5, no big deal. Should be the primary side, then the tune side that goes back to the tuning condenser will be these 2 points. Get my hands out of the way. And we should be somewhere around, 2.5, 2.4 ohms. We're at 58.3, so I think the oscillator coil is probably what took this thing out of service. Let me go ahead and unsolder everything, get the oscillator coil out. We'll take a closer look at the windings, see if we can make a quick repair. And with everything loose from the oscillator coil, 8.8. You can see the high DC resistance here, 72K. Probably just corrosion of the wire would be my guess, which is typical. Alright, I've got the terminal strips cleaned up on the oscillator coil former. The ones earmarked in red, that's the open winding, or you might as well say open. Reading now around 75,000 ohms of DC resistance. I'll take my heat gun, see if I can get some of the wax off and unwind the turns to understand the direction of the turns, which is critical to the oscillation, and also count the number of turns and then rewind that section of the coil if all possible. Again, zooming in where you guys can hopefully see this, there's the magnet wire. Probably a 36 to maybe 38 AWG, just a guess at this point. Let me go ahead and cut it loose and see if I can heat the wax up and unwind the coil, counting the number of turns in addition to denoting the rotation clockwise or counterclockwise. Go back to the other end. You guys saw where the wire broke there on that one section, and that may have been where the flaw itself was or is located, possibly. Let's see if I can get this one winding started. You guys can see it right here. You can see they used like a small piece of tape, maybe with some epoxy at the start and ending of the winding. I've marked the green-red location. I'm going to just count the number of turns. I'll do this off camera from this point back down to the lead that broke off at the tape point here, back to this terminal strip. I'll bring you guys back after so somewhere around, what, 6 millimeters? Okay guys, change of plans. I'm concerned I'll damage rewinding that goes back to the tune circuit. I think what I'm going to do is just wind over the top of the existing coil and try to mirror the width and not worry about the number of turns. I'm going to just use some 35 AWG. See if I can fit them in there snugly, again, knowing there'll be some capacitance added probably, but we'll see if the circuit will work. I'll try that first before trying to back in and remove this winding up through here and take a chance of actually breaking the winding. Okay, not a great job keeping the coil as close as possible. 25 turns. We'll see if this thing works. Let me get it back in the receiver and we'll know right away. If not, then I'll take it back out and try to reproduce a new oscillator coil. We'll look at inductance for reference. You can see I'm about 1.53 ohms. That's a little shy of the called out resistance on the schematic, but again, I'm not sure what wire gauge was used. Here I'm using some 35 AWG and just under 10 microhenries of inductance. And we're about 115 still, just under 9 ohms, so we should be good there. Okay, with the oscillator coil repaired, you can hear the receiver playing again with any output volume at all, though. You can see the old loudspeaker is used up. The surround is loose in many places, and the cone itself is degraded as well. So she rattles, as you can hear. I just did a RF alignment in the 1IF transformer. Again, this is a regen set, so it's real finicky as far as the gain adjustments go. Tracking is far from perfect. You can hear the distortion due to the loudspeaker, but at least she's alive again, as found, other than the repair that I made there to the oscillator coil, the tickler coil being open.
Yes. Our music portion of
This particular set needs a long wire antenna to really perform well. I've just got a short wire antenna on it. So that's it for now. You guys, you can see the speaker here. I'll move in a little bit closer. You can see where the repairs were made back in the day at some point in time. And again, I've got to do some cleanup, folks, to get the receiver to play with the oscillator not working. You can see they had that loop antenna tied to the antenna section, so my guess is they were just picking up a local station in the area using the loop and the broadcast part of the tuning condenser, that rear section to tune. So it'll be a nice restore down the road, just a repair at this point in time. Thanks for watching.
There's a lot of wonderful ways you can increase your knowledge for free, and it beats watching Netflix or Amazon Prime. Go on YouTube.